Well, hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir and I am streaming live from the beautiful Harcourt, Ontario, which is on the Kawartha Lakes region. And as you can see behind me, a regular weekend in well, for people in Ontario GTA or rather Toronto GTA. And but you got to work when you got to work, and you can't really do anything about it. So still working, still here, still trying to sort of do whatever I can to bring you this live update. Bear with me, the internet connection is not the best here, for whatever the reason being, obviously. uh, so there might be a bit of hang up, there might be a bit of stutter in the voice. And also for today's presentation, it is still uploading. So while it is uploading, we will change the sequence of how we do things in a normal fashion, in the normal, our weekly roundup. And we would talk about things that we would have otherwise spoken about, and take it on from there. Well, the first and foremost is the great announcement that IRCC made, and that was with regards to the international students. And what did they? Let me just pull that up, because that would then allow for uh, better interaction and better narration of the information as well. Let me just see if I can find that. And this was for the international students in Canada, or rather, who are going to study in Canada, and they can now uh, study online. That's what forget about. I can't really pull up that website at this point of time. But what IRCC has announced is that the international students who are destined to come to Canada can now continue to study online until 31st of August 2023. Now, the reason why this is a good news and the reason why this is a bit different is because under their normal uh, COVID protocols or COVID provisions that they have made, they had allowed the international students to come to Canada, or rather to study online from wherever they were, whether they were in Canada, outside Canada, until the 31st of August 2022, which is in 3 days from now. They have now extended this deadline to next year, so 31st of August 2023. Why this is so important and why this helps is because at this point of time, a lot of international students were struggling to come to Canada because the airfares are ridiculously high, because so many international students were under a lot of pressure to get to Canada and start their studies, because it was going to affect their postgraduate work permit eligibility. But this new deadline will give them that much more time, that much more uh, period of transition, so that they can take their own sweet time and come to Canada as and when they feel comfortable, until 31st of August 2023. And obviously you can continue to study and it will not affect your eligibility studies. However, there is a bit of a caveat there, and I'm coming to that one. So if you're already an international student, you're already studying, you've completed 1 year of program, you've completed 6 months of program, now whether you want to save on your cost of living and go back home and spend some more time with your family, and obviously not pay in Canadian dollars, you can do that. But also, if at all you had applied for your study permit, and we all know that study permit applications at this point of time are taking extremely long, ridiculously long. There are study permit applications that have been applied in the month of March, in the month of April. They still haven't got their decision. So keeping all that in mind and understanding that the backlogs are still plaguing the immigration system, IRCC has now made this provision, and they have said that they would allow international students to continue from their home country. So if you have applied, if you have submitted your study permit application before 31st of August 2022, which is 3 days from now, then also you can start studying online. Even if your program starts on the 1st of September, you are eligible, you can study online. But the caveat is that if you're starting a new program, which starts on the 1st of September or in September, then you can only study less than 50% outside Canada. For the remaining portion of more than 50% of your studies, you must be in Canada if you want to still be eligible for your postgraduate work permit, and obviously for your immigration points. So we have to keep this in mind. But for international students who are already in Canada, who are already studying, who are facing a lot of problems coming back to Canada, so well, this is good news for them, and they can obviously go back and either can go back or can continue studying. Well, I know somebody is very happy here in my house, because my niece had come from India and she was struggling to find accommodation, but now she's extremely happy. She's taking the next flight out on Monday and going back, and she will continue to study from Delhi, and then from the next semester or the semester after that, she will come back and start, rather continue with her studies. So as I said, overall good news there. That's the first one. The second one is the backlogs. Now, Sean Fraser has appeared in another live conference which happened in Vancouver. That happened, I think, a few days back, 3 days back, where he made a lot of announcements in terms of backlogs. And you can obviously check their website, and I think I can share that screen for sure. Let me just see if I can find that. Yes, I should be able to. Yes, so this is the website that they have made. They're calling it Build a Stronger Immigration System. Here, uh, they are talking more in details about the inventories and the backlog. So this is obviously quite important in the sense, like, it gives you more transparency. It gives you more transparent understanding of what exactly IRCC is doing, where they are standing currently, what's happening with them, what's happening with different application types. Obviously, if you have an application in the process, then it also gives you an understanding of how long your application may take from here on. So it's a good one to go for. So obviously you can check this website. It's available all over the place. It's on IRCC website. And here it is now saying that they have 2.4 million applications, not people. So the narrative has changed. Earlier we were talking about people, and it was a lot of people. It was already 2.7 million people. So what IRCC has done, twisted it a bit, and they're calling it now 2.4 million applications. That basically reduces the number as well, because it doesn't give you number of people in the process. So 2.4 million total applications in all IRCC inventories. 1.1 million, they are saying they are within the service standards, and it is 1.3 million which is in the backlog. So what they're trying to say is that just because you submitted an application yesterday and obviously it now becomes part of the processing queue, that does not mean that that is also in the backlog. Backlogs basically would refer to only those applications which have gone beyond their standard or average processing timeline. Well, he has a point in that, I would say, and absolutely makes sense over there. But by and large, does this help people or not? That is what needs to be seen. Okay. And in this, again, just trying to bring up another screen. Just give me one moment if I can find that. No, I can't. Yeah. Um, this is how technology works for you sometimes, right? So as far as IRCC is concerned, the number of applications which are in the backlog are the ones which have crossed their processing time. And this, in this particular website, or rather in this infographic, they're saying the temporary residence applications, 580,000 out of nearly 1.4 million applications, they're saying they're within the service standards. So when they're saying they're within the service standard, means it's roughly 900,000 applications which are outside the service standards, which basically means they're the ones which are in backlog. So 41% of these applications are within the service standards. So that's the kind of narrative that IRCC wants you to sort of, wants to give to you, and make you understand that it's not that the entire 2.4, 2.7 million people are in the backlog. It's just the ones which are not within the processing time. So you obviously can go through this website and get a good understanding of what they're trying to sort of do. But what they are doing, that is more important. We want to understand what they are up to, what they have been doing, what they are processing. So for that, what you need to understand is that first claim that they have made, first claim Sean Fraser has made. Earlier, I think about last year, they said that they have hired 500 new employees, which was helping them with the processing time. But those, and they also said they had infused $85 million, which was to help them process the backlogs and process this, new application intake and bring everything within the processing times. Now he's come out and said that by fall, and so basically fall starts, or the official fall period would be about 22nd of September onwards. By that time, they would have hired 1,250 new employees who will also then help them with their processing timeline. Well, that's a good one, because we've always known with all these plaguing backlogs, just by not doing anything is not going to help. So they have to make some drastic steps. They have to make these efforts to sort of help them get these processing timelines back in order, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense, right? So 1,250 new employees will be joining IRCC, and that will help them process their timeline, their backlogs in a better, efficient manner. My concern is with these 1,250 new employees, how much time will it take for them to be trained and get that kind of an experience to come up to the mark where they can efficiently and progressively and help in a speedy manner get cleared of, or clear all the applications in backlog. That is something which we have to see, but at least it's a step in the right direction. So we have 1250 new employees who are going to help us get this applications processed faster. Another thing that Sean Fraser said, which I don't think anybody is talking about, and that was with regards to all the number of visit visa applications that have been submitted before the 7th of September. So I'm not sure how many of you remember, on 7th of September, IRCC came out and said that if you have applied before 7th of September, then your processing will take time. But if you can apply under the new portal, or just reapply your visit visas after the 7th of September. So even if you have applied before, reapply. What they were trying to do over there is give the priority to the people, excuse me, who were applying after the 7th of September, and their processing times are faster. Initially, we saw applications were getting processed within days, then it went to weeks, then it went up to months. As of right now, it can easily take 3 to 4 months. But we honestly, some of our clients, we have found a lot of success in the fact that the applications are still getting processed faster, especially visit visa applications. They're still getting processed in 2 to 4 weeks. We have seen plenty of evidence of that for the applications to be processed. But what Sean Fraser said, and that is very interesting, is that a lot of people who applied for visit visas earlier, there is a good possibility that they may not consider a lot of them. They may refuse a lot of them. And one of the reasons was that the purpose of their visit may no longer be applicable. So, for example, you're an international student in Canada, your parents, you had invited them for your convocation, that application will not be processed, but the purpose of the travel is no longer valid, and therefore they don't need to come to Canada at this point of time, and therefore that application may not be processed. You may be inviting somebody, you're a permanent resident, you're a citizen, you may be inviting somebody for the purpose of marriage, for the purpose of birthday, for the purpose of New Year, Christmas, or whatever good occasion or happy occasion that you would be inviting them. Again, that purpose may not be valid anymore, and therefore there is a good possibility those applications will be refused or rejected. So if you are one of them who still has an application in the queue, in the process from 7th September and before for your visit visas, then absolutely recommending you to reapply, because that will help your application get processed faster. So that's for the visit visa applications. Now, there is also a lot of hype, news, noise about study permit applications that are being rejected in bulk by IRCC. I think it came up on NDTV, it has come up on Times of India, it's come up on a lot of media, international media as well, that IRCC is rejecting these applications in bulk. And then obviously the so-called agents who are sitting in these countries are trying to circumvent the system, trying to sort of steer the students from filing instead of SDS to filing into non-SDS, so that they can get some decisions faster or maybe get approvals faster. If you are an international student who's been waiting, well, to be very honest, there is nothing much you can do. You can't go to an MP. An MP cannot help you expedite your application. You cannot really do anything specific at this point of time, except waiting. And I know waiting can be very, very frustrating. So what you can do as an international student is you can connect with your college, ask them if the college is offering online studies. And if you do choose to study online, because now you are eligible to study online while you're waiting for your program, or while you're waiting for your application to be processed, what is the refund policy? That is extremely important. Some colleges have made provisions that if you study online and if your application is refused or rejected, they would still refund you almost entire fee, even if you have started studying. Okay? But for that, you need to check with your college, you need to check with your university and ask them what the refund policy would be. Now, to come back to the reasons for refusal, first of all, one of the biggest reasons for these large number of rejections or refusal is that it's not that the refusals or rejections have gone up, it's also the fact that the number of applications have gone up. So earlier, for example, if there were 10,000 applications that were being submitted, now it has grown phenomenally and it has gone to 30,000, 40,000 applications. So 3 to 4 times more applications are being submitted to IRCC. And one of the big reasons is because of the CRS score. The CRS score is through the roof, and people can't figure out what else to do if they're really interested in Canada. So they are trying to find another way to come to Canada. And one of the base is to come to Canada as an international student, so that you can then come and work after you complete your period of studies, and then obviously immigrate to Canada through a pathway from the PNPs, etc., and hence that option. So the number of applications from the international students has gone up. Because that has gone up, so the variable or the proportionate refusal rejection reason has also gone up. But again, that is not to take away from the fact that the number of rejections is much higher than what it used to be, to the effect that at this point of time, almost 54 to 56% of the applications may be getting rejected, refused, and this is happening all across the subcontinent. So India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, which is also quite a big community from which most of the international students who are coming to Canada. Apart from that, Nigeria, apart from that, China, apart from that, Philippines, these are also very big source countries for the international students in Canada. And a lot of them are facing rejections. And another big reason is the number of misrepresentations that have gone up, especially from the subcontinent. Those are the fake documents, fake degrees, fake IELTS, uh, misrepresented periods of work, so fake employment documents, that has gone up like really, really high. And based on that, what is happening is that, right, I mean, this is what happens. If a visa officer has seen 4 such documents, let's say in a very quick progression, they suddenly start suspecting all the other applications are also suspect, and they start taking more time trying to verify and check that information. And sometimes, even when the person isn't really, fake, or hasn't sort of, provided any fake documents, or isn't in lying, but if the visa officer is not convinced, then that application unfortunately becomes a victim of the same bias, and also gets refused, also gets rejected. And unfortunately, that's what's happening with a lot of applications. So one person commits, something which is wrong, and then several others also have to pay for the same of that individual, and that's how it rolls, that's how it goes. But that's equally what has been seen, what is also happening. Unfortunately, my presentation for today is not uploading, so I guess we will have to go without the presentation that we usually do. And from the other things that we were talking about, so okay, so since we do not have the presentation, let's talk about what was already included in that presentation. So there were certain draws that happened. BCPNP draw happened. BCPNP again is a regular suspect. They conduct their draws quite regularly. You can obviously go and check on their website as to what the draw was. But the one draw that I want to talk to you about, and in addition to BCPNP, there was a draw from Prince Edward Islands. There was also a draw from Saskatchewan. And Saskatchewan's draw is what I want to talk to you about. And let me see if I can pull up at least that. It's going to be difficult. Well, again, it doesn't look like I can pull up anything right now with my limited internet connection at this point of time. So Saskatchewan draw happened at a score of 65. Saskatchewan is on a roll. They have been conducting draw after draw after draw, and the scores have really, really come down. It was earlier never. I mean, for a very long time, we did not see the Saskatchewan scores coming down to 70s. Even 70s was looking very difficult. But now, thankfully, they are conducting draws at a much lower score. So the latest draw, which happened on the 25th of August, which was day before yesterday, the score with Saskatchewan was only 65. Only 65. But here is the caveat. And I think they issued about 400 or 500 invitations. But the caveat there is that the knock codes that were selected were, first of all, not too many. I think they selected about 12 or 14 knock codes, but they were all healthcare related. So a lot of psychologists, sonographers, radiologists, therapists, paramedics, health inspectors. These were the knock codes that were selected. So don't feel so down about it if that was not your knock code. But if this was your knock code, then this is a great opportunity, golden ticket. At a score of 65, you are absolutely lucky to have gotten invited. I'm not saying if 65 will also follow through with most other knock codes, because you have to keep in mind the way most of these PNPs operate is they identify certain occupations, certain knock codes that are considered to be in demand in their province, and then if that province goes after those knock codes and narrows down their search, then these scores can really drop, as we have seen. This has happened now again with Saskatchewan. 65, as I said, is a great score. So that congratulations to everybody who received their invitations, and as I said, it's a golden ticket. Please do not let this opportunity go. In addition to that, there were also certain other draws, which honestly I can't remember. Let me just see if I can pull that up very quickly to understand if I'm not forgetting any of those. Actually, you know what? I can still do this. Hold on. I can. Hold on. Yeah, it's not going to be the best, but I think we can work with this. Yeah, we can work with this. All right, so this was the presentation, which for some reason I'm not able to upload to our portal to sort of show it to you in normal fashion. So starting with the quote of the week: learn how to be happy with what you have while you pursue all you want. Great quote by Jim Rohn. Absolutely love the guy. But let's see, we had the Canadian Immigration Weekly Roundup. PNP updates are the news. In the PNP draws, we had the Prince Edward Islands. They invited a total of 121 candidates with a combined total score, or rather, no, total number of people, express entry and labor impact were 117. And they also invited Entrepreneur Stream with a score of only 97. Good one there. As I said, Saskatchewan draws, we already spoke. They have invited 668 on the 18th of August and 629 on the 25th of August. So as you can see, Saskatchewan is on a total roll here. These were the knock codes that I wanted to show you. 2263, 3143, 3211, 3212, 3214, 3215, 16, 3234, 4151. All of these are healthcare related professionals. Uh, so again, once again, congratulations. British Columbia has also conducted the draw. I already spoke to you about this. Arima, Quebec also conducted a draw on August of 9th, which is quite some time back, but since they don't publish that information so quickly, we didn't get that. They invited 58 candidates under the Quebec Regular Skilled Worker Program. In other news, we have already spoken about the fact that international students can obviously now continue studying online. There is an update on the immigration system about the backlogs. We've already spoken about this while I was trying to upload this. And also, IRCC is going to publish backlog data monthly. So you can actually get handle of what exactly the backlogs are in a more transparent manner, hopefully transparent manner from the IRCC, which will also help you understand. So that was basically the presentation. Thankfully, I spoke all about it. I remembered all of it. Thank you, Fadi, for that. Connect with us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, of course, on TikTok as well. And if you're still here, smash the like button. If you still haven't subscribed to the channel, then I don't know what you're waiting for. But yeah, so if you're still here, subscribe. And if you're still here, smash the like button. Okay, so this we don't need. Okay, there's one more thing I wanted to talk to you about. This is about the New Brunswick. Let me see if I can share the screen here. Right, New Brunswick. Uh, Now, New Brunswick, as we all know, obviously has always been very active in inviting certain people when they conduct the information sessions and recruitment initiatives. However, this time they are slightly on the not the best news for a lot of people. Earlier, they had also they had also restricted their express entry, and this time now they have come out and said that their skilled worker stream that they would be concentrating on very specific streams from here on, and they are implementing special measures to manage their skilled worker inventory through till the end of 2022. And this would help them fill up some very important categories. And so what they are going to be concentrating on henceforth until 2022. So this is for people who were targeting New Brunswick for this particular year. This is not the best news for you. If you're already inside Canada, you're an international student, you're a worker who was looking forward to going to New Brunswick. Well, the New Brunswick has brought some conditions there. So they will be concentrating first of all on the francophone candidates or francophone applicants. They'll be concentrating on New Brunswick graduates. So if you graduated from a different province, you might not find a lot of luck with New Brunswick at this point of time. They will also be concentrating on all the IT knock codes. Again, IT getting a lot of preference: 2147 317 2172 737475 2281 8283. Great ones there. And they will also be concentrating on four other knocks: 3012 3233 3413 4412. These are also, I think, healthcare and childcare, those categories. But what they're saying is that your other options is that you can obviously go towards the Atlantic immigration program if you wish to. But with New Brunswick, it's going to be a bit more restrictive invitations for the rest of the year. Or so if you're planning to look at New Brunswick as an option because you are facing problem with the PNP pathways, then New Brunswick at this point of time might not be the best one. We will have to wait till probably the start of the next year to see what else we can expect from New Brunswick, because province, right? So that's basically all that I had to share with you as far as the information is concerned. But let's start looking at some questions before I tune off for the day. All right. Currently in Canada, TRV expires in November 2022, waiting for work permit extension. To extend work permit extension expected in November, can I apply for TRV to Canadian Embassy in USA while in Canada? No. Why will you apply to, if you're already inside Canada, why will you apply to the embassy in USA? I'm sorry, but I don't understand your question. If you are in Canada, you will apply inside Canada for your TRV, but you can apply for TRV only once your work permit has been approved. LMIA based work permit, 2 years near to expire. How to renew? It is the same process. Everything again, same process, or is there any extension? Yes, it's absolutely the same process. There is no change in that. How much money can one take while landing as PR in Canada for the first time? Good question. It's a question that a lot of people get confused with. A lot of people ask. A lot of people ask, how do I declare my money or my property that I have in my home country to the border officer? Should I include it in my goods to follow? And how much money can I carry? What I need to disclose, what I don't need to disclose? So this is something which we'll talk about today in detail so that we can clear it once and for all. First of all, you can carry as much money as you want to. There is no restriction when you're coming to Canada as a first time during your first landing. You want to carry, if you have truckloads, carry truckloads. You have bucket loads, carry bucket loads. You want to carry bags full of it, carry bags full of it. There is no problem. You want to carry it in cash, fixed deposits, forex cards, in any instrument, in any way you wish to. You can carry any amount of money to Canada. There is no restriction. The requirement, however, is that if you are carrying more than $10,000 Canadian, if you're carrying more than 10,000 Canadian dollars in cash or similar instruments, then when I'm saying similar instruments, it basically means you're carrying bearer bonds. Okay, that is a similar instrument. Then you need to disclose. There is no restriction. You have to disclose that to the CBSA, to the border officer when you arrive. For the sake of preventing any illegal crimes, money laundering, and those kind of situations, they may want to ask you or question you further as to the source of those funds. Does this money belongs to you? Did you sort of have it in the legal manner, etc.? So those legalities might be involved. However, there is no restrictions whatsoever. You can carry any amount of money. There is no problem. Only if the funds that you're carrying is in cash or similar instrument, as I said, like bearer bonds, then you need to disclose it if the amount is 10,000 Canadian dollars or more. And this amount is applicable to the family size. So even if you are a family of 4 and you are each carrying $2,500 each, but the total is $10,000, please declare. The reason for that is when you're preparing your landing card on the flight that you used to get, you prepare one landing card for the family. You don't prepare separate landing cards. At this point of time, I don't think there is a landing card anymore. Now you come to the counter and you basically disclose, you fill out the registration in the kiosk itself. So if you're doing an individual kiosk, if you're doing an individual registration or declaration, then you may disclose separately. But if you're coming as a family, then $10,000 limit applies. It's not a limit, but a disclosure limit is applicable to you as a family. Now, if you are carrying combination of forex cards, wire transfers, bank drafts, checks, cash, then you don't need to disclose anything which is not cash or which is not equivalent to cash, which is like a bearer bond. If you're carrying checks, you're carrying fixed deposit receipts, you're carrying I don't know, wire transfer proof, you are carrying forex cards, etc. All these instruments are not considered as cash. And obviously there is already a paper trail and legality trail there, so you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to disclose that. Only if it is $10,000 cash or equivalent is when you need to disclose. With regards to disclosing your property, your real estate, or the money that you did not bring, which you want to bring at a later date and not face a problem, CBSA has nothing to do with that. You don't need to talk about it at the time you land. There is no goods to follow. Your property, your money, your whatever you're bringing is not goods. Okay, so there is nothing to disclose. There is nothing to talk about it. Where you need to talk about it or disclose it so that you do not have any tax implications at a later date is your CRA tax filing records when you do it for the first time. So the best way to do it would be to discuss it with a tax consultant, talk to them, let them know what kind of real estate, what kind of property, what kind of rental income, what kind of money that you have, which you did not bring, that you were inherited, that you wish will inherit in future. Let the tax consultant know so they can build it or provide that information to CRA. So in future, 1 year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, when you do bring that money after selling your or disposing your property or your real estate, or getting, liquidating your fixed deposits or whatever that might be, then when you bring that money, you are able to provide to CRA the information that you've already disclosed that, and there is no further taxes on it. So this is how you would handle your finances as a first time landed immigrant. Okay. As TRV processing in India is 160 days, I cannot stay that long due to my job in Canada. Will apply for TRV extension from Canada or to Canadian embassy. So you can only apply to the country you are residing in. If you're not residing in US, you cannot file for a visa in the US embassy. So that's how it works. Score 458, primary knock. Can I expect? I can't tell you about individual scores and individual knock codes, so I'm not going to be taking those kind of questions. My postgraduate work permit approved on 12th of July. Still waiting for the hard copy. IRCC customer care asked me to send 5545 by mail with a $30 fee, which will take further 145 days of processing. Please assist me. Well, I'm not sure what you want me to assist you with. You've already done what is needed to be done. You applied for a verification of status. The document, if it will come to you, when it comes to you, you will get it. If it was approved on the 12th of July, then it's probably been lost in mail. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do except applying for a verification of status, where you will be basically getting a duplicate work permit app sent to you. All right. Heard that COPR received in August 2022 was not valid due to admin error. What if someone lands with such a COPR? Will he be returned back, or is it common for such admin errors? Well, there have been a lot of admin errors. IRCC has been facing lots of technical issues, lot of technical or administrative errors as well. But if you have a valid COPR, you've arrived in Canada, then it's not a problem. You would be, processed in the regular fashion. I have a friend in Manitoba whom I've known since April 2022. Can I mention him as friend to apply for MPNP next April? Well, if he or she is really your friend, you can prove that relationship, then of course you can mention that person as a friend in your application. We just did this. Okay. We need to include foreign work experience under CECE profile. What supporting documents are needed once we receive an ITA? If you include your foreign work experience while you're also a CEC candidate, then you get additional points. So if you wish to get additional points, then yes, you disclose your foreign work experience. The documents are the same. You will provide employment reference letters, which will include your name, your job title, your working period, your working hours, your salary, your remuneration, and most importantly, your duties and responsibilities. In addition to that, also provide your pay slips, pay stubs, income tax returns, bank statements that show salary credit. Postgraduate work permit processing time is mentioned as 154 days, currently through 5 months. If I am eligible for 1 year postgraduate work permit, will I be issued with a 1 full year, or they deduct those 5 months from it? No, you will get 1 full year on the date of the issue that they will process your postgraduate work permit application. So you actually get a benefit of additional months of working on an implied status while your postgraduate work permit is being processed. But if you're in a rush, if you really want to get a work permit faster, you can always go to the port of entry and flagpole. Do you still think that there might be one draw in November due to the switch of tier system? And if so, if OINP releases 1,000 nominations, do you see the score at by end December? I mean, both the situations are absolutely spot on. Both of that are correct. I do fear, I don't know if it happens or not, I hope it doesn't happen, that there might be a bit of a hold up on the express entry draw when the tier system changes. It has happened before in 2017. I'm not sure if it happens now. Hopefully IRCC is already gearing up for this change. I hope they're already making the required changes. They're already making the respective changes in the system, and hopefully they do not have to wait to, or rather hold back one draw just because the change that they're making. Let's just see the month of November. 16th November is the date. 16th November is a Wednesday. Now, I'm not sure what the draw dates are looking like. I haven't calculated those, but 16th November is a Wednesday. That is the date that they have chosen to, implement the tier system. I'm hoping they don't have to hold back any express entry draws, but if they do hold back on any express entry draw because of the system change, then yeah, the scores are going to go up versus coming down. That's number one. And I've spoken about this before. Ontario has not released a lot of its nominations. As and when they do release a lot of these nominations, then yeah, we are going to sort of have an increased number of people in the pool with the score of 600 plus, and that would directly impact the score for that draw and probably the following draw. And from there on, obviously, sort of reduce it a bit, unless IRCC has also increased the number of invitations to allow for that increase. Uh, Also, as you can see now, Saskatchewan has been issuing invitations rapidly, but Saskatchewan takes time in providing the nominations. So, I mean, their nomination rate, they can take 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, but it's not like everybody gets delayed that way. We have had success with applications which have got processed with nomination only in 3 weeks. So you can see with this increased number of invitations being issued by Saskatchewan, almost every week they have been issuing 500 to 600 invitations. So all this will also at some point of time going to come up with the nominations, and you will see these invitations or rather these nominations also putting a bit of a pressure on the express entry pool for the scores. Okay, not sure what he's asking, but let's see. Some people, those who applied in 2021, not yet got an AOR. On the other hand, people who applied in March 2022, even June 22 got AOR. So, I mean, there is nothing that I can help you with in this particular query. That is IRCC at its best. Uh, it all depends which intake office was processing and what would probably be your application. Actually, the intake office is the same, so it shouldn't really make a big difference. But it also depends how did you apply your application, what nomination there was, why all your documents complete, not complete. Yeah, but it's surprising that some people are getting AOR faster than the others. Intake is usually the processing queue. It should not vary. But yeah, you can always write back to IRCC and follow up on this. My work permit authorization letters with my lawyer who applied for my work permit. He said he has it, but he is not sending it. What you can do is you can complain about this lawyer to the law society. No lawyer is allowed to hold back an important document such as this from the client. So what you should do is you should complain to the law society and also let the lawyer know that you're going to take that serious step forward, put everything on paper so that you will have proof of it, and then you should take an action against such unscrupulous behavior. Okay, please shed some light on PNP processing. I think we just did this question. Okay, outland applicants, still no sign of PPR. The wait is so frustrating, keep us hanging, and our life is on hold. I absolutely agree with you. This is extremely frustrating, but hopefully, with everybody, the whole international media and IRCC being aware of the backlogs and they now taking some very serious steps, hopefully you should also see the decision for your application soon. Same question. I'm residing in India. My passport will expire. I have a visitor visa application to Canada. Can I review passport before getting visa decision? Yes, you can. Once you get it, send it to IRCC so that they can give you the validity as per the new passport and not as per the old passport. My brother-in-law and my uncle both are in Canada. Can I claim bro-in-law points or uncle points? Well, you can get your brother-in-law's sibling points if your wife is accompanying you or if your spouse is accompanying you, and I think that's just pretty much it. For your uncle, you don't get any CRS points, you get eligibility points. But if your brother in law is already there, then you will obviously get your eligibility points as well as CRS points if your spouse is accompanying. Also, depending where your brother or your uncle resides, for example, if they reside in the province of Saskatchewan or Manitoba, then that would greatly help you because you will be able to apply in those provinces and get the additional points for your relatives there. How to let IRCC know that I don't want to account for remote period of work outside Canada as my company has only start and end date mentioned. Well, you can mention that period of work in your personal history, showing that the country of work was not in Canada at that point of time. Or you can also break your period of work experience in your work history for period in Canada mentioned in the work history, period of outside Canada not mentioned in the work history. That will also account for the same. Saskatchewan nominated applicant, do I need to upload any IMM forms when submitting EEPR? No, you don't need to upload any forms in your express entry application. Uh, Please let us know how moving to Canada has positively changed your life. Also, great hoodie. Well, thank you. I love this color myself. How has it positively changed? That's a discussion for a different day. But I did upload a video about my life and the reality that I went through and I faced when I came to Canada. My expectations, my realizations, and how life actually panned out. But to give you a small and a very brief background on that, uh, immigration is not my background. Immigration law or anything of this sort is not my background. This is not something which I had envisioned or I had ever anticipated that I would do. I initially started my career in aviation. I really climbed that ladder really, really high there with the aviation in the aviation industry. From there on, I've gone and done several businesses. I've done HR, I've done recruitment, I've done manpower supply, I've done hospitality, I've done chemicals, I've done scrap business, I've done all of that. And when I came to Canada, I fell flat on my face in the kind of business venture that I started. I lost all the money that my partners invested in me, and from there on it was like the rise of the phoenix kind of a thing. Out of nowhere, I realized I was being misled by my consultant. I got into trying to figure out what I needed to do, and while I was doing that, started answering queries for different people on different forums. And from there on, I realized that if I needed to do this in a much more serious manner, I should get educated. That's where I did my diploma. I completed my immigration diploma, and I started taking this more and more and more seriously, because suddenly I realized I enjoyed the subject. I was not doing it because I thought I would make money, or thought I would treat it as a profession or occupation. I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed the whole subject, what it can do, how it can change people's life, how it can affect people's futures, and that's how I went continue to do. Money is a secondary byproduct kind of a thing. So I do this because I love doing it. I'm not doing it today, for example, all this because I'm getting paid for it or I will make money out of it. I'm doing it just because I love doing it, regardless of where I am, whether I'm on a holiday, whether I can come out on weekends or something. This is something which I don't let go. I love it. And what has it done for me? Well, it is it brings me a lot of mental peace. It brings me a lot of job satisfaction, which I don't think I ever had earlier, except for my job with aviation. I don't think I've had job satisfaction. As in, I love doing it. Even if I'm working 12 hours, even if I'm working 14, 16 hours doing this, it doesn't feel like I'm working. It just feels like this is like I'm playing a video game kind of a thing. So I enjoy doing it. So it's given me job satisfaction. It has given me a lot of uh, acknowledgement. So for example, you go to a supermarket, you meet people. You go to restaurants, you meet people. You go at the airport, the check-in desk, you meet people. On the flight, you meet people. You go to different countries, you meet people, and they somehow know you, whether they have known you through the YouTube, they have known you through because your Facebook group, and the stories that you exchange with you as to how it has impacted them, that I think is top notch. I don't think that feeling has any comparison. That feeling has any competition. That absolutely satisfying feeling of knowing that your one video made so much of a difference, made so much of an impact in somebody else's life. That is like, I love it. I mean, sometimes that by itself is so satisfying. But then the byproduct has been the money, and the money has been good. My services have really flourished. The business has flourished. Thankfully, we now have a big team of 6 to 8 people on our payroll. Some of them are RCICs, licensed consultants, who are basically employed in our team and who work with us. And so the business has grown, the services have grown, the reach has grown. So overall, I find it to be an absolutely uh, what we also refer to as a place of barakah. This the land has given me what uh, I guess a lot of other places did not offer, in the sense of the barakat, or in sense of the goodwill, in sense of how giving it has been, rather than and then I have lived in so many other countries. I mean, of course, I was born in India, but then I've also lived in other countries. I've lived in UAE, I've lived in Singapore, I've lived in Malaysia, I've lived in Myanmar. So there have been so many other places, right? But this is home. This is beautiful home. I hope that somehow gave some of your answers. It is amazing how you organize your presentation. Thank you. I hope the presentation would have worked today, but it didn't. But thank you so much. I got my PPR recently, but want to accompany my family. I want my family to accompany with me. Applied for PR too, but not getting NOI from Alberta for the past months. Please suggest. Uh, okay, this is sounding very complex. I'm not able to understand. If you have your PR, why does your wife and kids waiting for an NOI? If you are a permanent resident or if you have PPR, come to Canada, activate your status as a permanent resident, simply just sponsor your wife and children. I mean, I'm not sure what exactly is the hurdle there. When do you think IRCC will start working on a public policy release? I think they already have made the provision and they would work on it pretty quick, because most of them they're already working on. They're already providing and processing the work permit extensions, and the ones who are being applied, people who are applying for it now, I think those are also being processed already. I'm a family class applicant now waiting for PPR. Does this mean my application is not stuck on the backlog? All steps required to PPR has been completed. Well, I can't tell you. I do not know when you submitted your application. I do not know what stage you are in terms of, you don't even know which visa office you are in. But if all stages have been completed, then I guess your passport request should be just around the corner. I've applied for work permit extension under the new policy. Will it be processed as per the normal timelines? I think it will be processed as per the normal timelines, but because TRV processing is already taking long, there's a lot of backlog there. The postgraduate work permit processing time is about 5 months at this point of time. But now you are already authorized to work. You already have, you already have what do you call interim work authorization, so you don't have any issues there at all. I mean, you can continue working, you can work, so you don't have any issues there. The backlog stuck with Montreal for 5 months. What to do? No change in profile. I can't tell you how long before RFV. It's just a matter of processing. As I said, we're talking about backlogs. I can't tell you specifically how long it's going to take. 496, do I have a chance this year? Well, I absolutely am confident that 496 has a chance this year. Fingers crossed. Any specific format for goods to follow, or plain paper will work? Well, I personally, I've used an Excel sheet myself. I've used it. My brother used it. My sister-in-law used it. My cousin used it. So we did was we just prepared an Excel sheet, printed it out, carried with us, told the border officer, the customs, that we wanted to declare goods to follow. The border officer prepared the form, and then they attached our goods to follow list. Take 2 copies, one for them, one for you, and then they stamped it. And then they told, obviously, your goods to follow list must have the description of the goods, the quantity, and the value that you're declaring. That is what you will need as part of your goods to follow. But yes, you don't need to make any separate forms or something. Just a printout of your Excel sheet or your document is just good enough. Is it true that the chances of super visa approval are higher than the regular visit visa? Yes, it is true. And the reason is, in a visit visa application, the entire merit is of the applicant. Their ties to home country, their documentation, their finances, their travel history, their background, their purpose of visit, everything is only and only about the applicant. But with the super visa, that assessment or the merit is shared between the sponsor, who is the child, and the parent or the grandparent who is invited to come to Canada. So the biggest criteria being the child's income, because that has to be, you have to be eligible, and obviously the insurance that you have paid for it completely, all the premium, and that these two main criterias. So the criteria is shared. Also, the purpose of visit becomes different, because now with super visa, you can come to Canada and live here for 5 + 2 7 years at a stretch. So the purpose of visit doesn't really matter, as long as you're coming here and you are still able to establish at least some small ties to show that you will indeed return back after your period of legal stay. So the the processing approval rates of super visa are definitely better than the regular visit visas. Well, the questions continue, and you know what, I got to get on with this as well. So thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate your taking the time off and again tuning in and obviously getting informed yourself. Thank you so much. If you wish to make an appointment with me one-on-one, then please use this link. And by all means, we can discuss your application, your background, your details in detail, and understand what is it that is causing that concern for you. If you're not following us on Instagram, then please do. We are always pretty active on Instagram as well. A lot of information comes out there pretty quickly. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It always makes us happy to see those numbers growing up. Once again, thank you so much for joining in. It was a pleasure hosting this once again. And until such time, have a good weekend. Stay safe. Take care. Oh, and by the way, if you are an India cricket fan or a Pakistan cricket fan, good luck to both the teams. May the best team win. I would want to not miss a single minute of that match. Absolutely excited. I hope you are as excited. See you guys later. Take care.